1-on-1, never lost. Went to the finals, never lost.
You never got there, Lamar.
Who?
You.
I've been a 1-on-1 champ, never lost 1-on-1.
All right.
Back at it again, Cigar Spencer. You know what time it is. It's time for the East Texas Top 10 most intriguing games of the week. We're going to look at the top 10 games of this area round. Who's playing who's going to advance, who we think's going to advance. But before we can get into those top 10 games, we got to take a look at what happened last week in the bi-district round. Talk about the team of the week, player and plays of the week. And the team of the week is once again the second time in 3 weeks. The Tatum Eagles are the team of the week. They lost their quarterback, Cole Watson, and it was no problem. No Watson, no problem. Tatum got rid of Commerce 42-21. A big win without the starting quarterback, without the Mike linebacker of their defense. The heart and soul of the team was missing, and they still found a way to compete and win that game. They face Whitney in round 2 tonight, but congratulations to those Eagles putting on a masterful performance. Carson Gonzalez had a big game. The backup had a really big game. A lot of guys involved. Jordan Chambers made a couple of plays out there for the Eagles. So it was nice to see more people get involved in Tatum and seeing them scratch and survive and claw all they can to get into round 2. So they're the team of the week. So let's get into who are the top 10 players of the week. At number 10 is Derek D.D. Williams Jr., 6 of 9 through the air for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also totaled it 9 times for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as the Kilgore Bulldogs went on ahead and beat Livingston 49-8. A dominating win, dominating defense, dominating offense. Real clean win. That's how you want to win the first round playoff game, especially as a team. You want to be dominant, you want to be clean, you want to be healthy. And the Kilgore Bulldogs pulled that off in a big win for them last week. At number 9, Demetrius Brisbane, Chapel Hill, 11 for 16, 205 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air, 11 carries and 101 yards on the ground, meaning a 35-7 win over Little Cypress, Mauriceville. A big win for the Chapel Hill Bulldogs. And like I said, this team finished third, so this was the second place team in district that they faced, and a little bit more challenging of a game than what we'd expected for Chapel Hill. But when you finish third place in district, you got to play the second place team of another district. Still handled them mightily. This is probably the best third place team in the state of Texas. I feel sorry for LCM, thinking that they were going to get a decent matchup, but not even. They went in and they were handled by Chapel Hill, and a great game from Brisbane and that Chapel Hill defense as well. And number 8, keeping it in the same district, is Clint Thurman of Lindale, 10 of 19 for 222 yards and 3 tugs. He also had 21 carries for 102 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 49-28 win over Viter. A very dominant game, and this is how Lindale wins. They win based off the arm and the legs of Clint Thurman. They play decent defense from time to time, but when they run the ball, control the clock, and then take their shots when they have one-on-one matchups, Lindale is as tough as anybody to beat in for a football. A very good team, finished second. They've got a big game coming up this week as well. At number 7, Jacoby Williams Beckville, 14 carries, 202 yards, downs, and a 41-0 win. Texas Tech commit, best athlete on the field. He's going to dominate these early rounds. That yards on just 14 carries in a very rainy Thursday night last week against Alba Golden. At number 6, Chase Johnson Dangerfield, 11 of 17 for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then he went and had 10 carries, 76 yards, and 3 more touchdowns on the ground. 48-0 win over New Waverly this past week. Chase is just a phenomenal player. Does a great job of giving his athletes a chance to catch the football. Throws a perfect, no, I won't say perfect, but throws a beautiful deep ball, gives his fast receivers an opportunity to get under it, and he's really improved his rushing this year, being a real valuable threat on the ground, a big physical runner that you're going to have more than one to bring down, especially on first contact. And number 5, Willie Nelson, Longview, 3 tackles, 2 of them for loss. He also had a 28-yard interception return for a touchdown, and then he had a 57-yard punt return that he took back for a touchdown. Classic Willie, 59-7 win over New Caney Porter this past week for Longview. Willie Nelson, 17 career interceptions, got his 17th career interception, probably like his sixth pick six, I think, throughout his career, if I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. Willie's a phenomenal player and does a phenomenal job for Longview, and so they take on a very big and important game against Reedy this week. At number 4, Akari Johnson, PG. Don't have the stats on him, but my man passed for 3 passing touchdowns and had 3 rushing touchdowns in a huge 61-7 win over Rusk. Very, very dominant performance. Rusk has talent. They finished 4th in their district, and they've, added some decent dominant for Pleasant Grove. And Akari Johnson doing all he can. Not a whole lot of highlights. All I have is one scramble of them, but a very good player, and very anxious to see what PG does as they continue to run in the playoffs. At number 3, Javari Johnson, T.I. 29 carries, 209 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 51-28 win over Terrell. No huge, fantastic runs out of Javari this week. Just some good old 7-8 yard gains over and over and over again. He's the bell cow. He's the leader. He's the starter on that offense at the running back position. And it's a very talented position. They have Trey Ball, who's a very, very talented guy as well. But he's the workhorse. He's the guy he's going to go 70, 80, 90 every once in a while. But he's also going to get you 5, 6, and 7 every single time. A very good football player, and a good night for Javari Johnson. At number 2, Dawson Witherspoon of Mount Vernon, 30 carries, 237 yards, and 4 touchdowns in a big 49-7 win over Gladewater. They shut Gladewater down defensively. Dawson Witherspoon has been the man for Mount Vernon for the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially. Last week was a player of the week. This week, another huge game for him. 30 touches, 230 yards, 4 tugs. They'll give him number 2 this week. And at number 1, Will Henderson of Gilmer, 14 carries, 208 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also had 1 catch for 75 yards and a touchdown on that as well, as Gilmer legs out center, sending them home 69-42. Huge game for Gilmer last week. Offensively, they were very on point, on key. This is what Gilmer has done all year. They score points, and they haven't played the best defense in the world, but they will score points. A lot of points scored in this game, over 112, I think maybe 111, maybe, if my math is right. I think so, 111 points scored between the two teams. Center, this is how they've been all year. They scored big, but they can't stop anybody. They gave up damn near 70 points to Gilmer, and Will Henderson was one of the main reasons why, pretty much producing 35 points himself. Let's look at the top 10 plays of the week. At number 10 is Keyshawn. Top 10 plays of the week. Let's get into it. Let's not wait. At number 10, Keyshawn Walls out of Hooks, a 57-yard touchdown run. He gets touched a couple of times, but that is just a big Tex Arcana out here. Trey Ball catches this screen pass. Great job by the lineman, get out in front blocking. He's going to wave and juke his way through and get all the way into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. At number 8, we're out here in Pine Tree. It's Gladewater versus Mount Vernon. Gladewater's only points of the day. It was a 7-0 ball game at the time. So this 80-yard touchdown run felt good at the time, but an 80-yard touchdown run there from Wilson from Gladewater. At number 7, out here in Lufkin, it's Timpson playing whoever the hell they got. A pick 6 from Terry Bussey. Huge game from Bussey. He made a bunch of plays, and this is just one of 1,002 that he makes every week. At number 6, we're out here in Longview. It's Winsboro versus Atlanta. In the rain, 86-yard touchdown pass, a hell of an adjustment by the receiver to turn his back to the ball, catch it, and then keep on rolling in the rain. On top of that, great play. And number 5, out there in, I believe, Nacogdoches, is Athens. Great play. It's a trick play, a lateral to the receiver, and then he's going to hit Jamari Manning down the middle. Great touchdown. It's bittersweet. Great play, but the Athens Hornets are done this year. At number 4, we're out here in Melissa Whitehouse. Linebacker Josh Green goes up. Perfect interception there. Great timing. Great leap. Great catch. Number 3, Ricky Stewart. And number 2, Ricky Stewart. Back-to-back plays here from Ricky Stewart. His feet move so fast. He takes little itty-bitty steps, but, man, can he ever change direction? He's a great running back. Great effort here. First, the 47-yard touchdown, and then the 60-yard touchdown as he leaves Little Cypress M in the dust. And the number 1 play this week comes from Hallsville. It's Gilmer at center, and it's Dhrvay Smtih. This time, bouncing off of people, man, he is really good. That balance, just a bounce off of a cat, and then having the speed to finish the run, an 82-yard touchdown run there from however you say your first name, I don't know how to say it, but D. Smith out of Gilmer. So let's look at who's in, who's not. These are the games that we're not covering in the top 10 most intriguing games, but these are the teams that we do have advancing going into next week. So let's go ahead and look at it. We got 15 games this week. 10 games we're going to cover, 5 not. And these 5, Van is going to win this week. I think Van. So Van is taking on Aubrey this Friday in Roy City. I've got Van winning this game. I think Van's going to go to work, and I think they're going to win. And I like Van in this matchup. And Sunnyvale, Gilmer. I got Gilmer winning and beating Sunnyvale in Tyler Thursday night tonight. It's going to be a big game. I've got Pleasant Grove over Caddo Mills. They play tonight as well in Melissa. Carthage versus Van Alstine. They play this game in Mount Pleasant on Friday night. I've got Carthage winning that game. And then I've got Winsboro taking out Teague and Kaufman on Friday night. A big game against Teague. And this is around Winsboro got beaten last year, but I think they are going to advance on to the next round. So let's look at the top 10 most intriguing games of the week. At number 10 is Midlothian Heritage versus Marshall. And Marshall has done really good this year. They competed. Things, if you know anything about the program, things kind of got rocky within, and I'm not going to be the one to disclose information about what happened. But, man, things got rocky. But shout out to Coach Jack Alvarez, getting it back together, putting in a strong performance to finish the season, finishing second in district, and then and they also did a great job. But I think the end of the road is coming here. Midlothian Heritage undefeated at this point, and I don't know if Marshall is going to have enough to stop what they do offensively. A very explosive offensive team, and they're sitting on 11-0 right now, and I think they're probably going to go 12-0 and say goodbye to the Mavericks in the playoffs this week. At number 9, let's look at it. Who do we have? The 9 game of the week is Chapel Hill versus El Campo. El Campo, traditionally, last 3 or 4 years, they've been really good, but that's because of Reuben Owens, and Reuben Owens ain't there no more, and they don't have enough. I think Chapel Hill is going to go in and defeat El Campo. El Campo is 6-5 on the year. They lost a lot of games, and I don't know if they're going to be ready to handle Ricky Stewart and Demetrius Brisbane this go round. I've got the Bulldogs from Chapel Hill going in and winning this game big, and I think it's going to set up a great matchup against another familiar team, but we'll talk about that later. At number 8, Kilgore versus Bay City. I've got Derek Williams Jr. He's going to lead this team past Zylan Williams, the top receiver from Bay City. I really think Kilgore is just on path to walk all the way to the 4th round, but they'll end up either facing a former district rival, and I think in either Chapel Hill or Lindale, which we'll talk about a little bit later. At number 7, Harmony versus ARP. Harmony versus ARP, big game. 2 East Texas teams matching off in the area rounds. It's going to be real fun. Frank Smith has been dominant on offense for ARP all year long, but Harmony has showed up when they are supposed to, and they've shown that they're going to try to recreate that playoff magic. I am been so high on Harmony, especially after their big win against Dangerfield, and I really think they're into playoff mode, and I think they're going to try to recreate the magic that led them to a 5th round matchup last year. At number 6, it's West Russ versus New Diana, another East Texas matchup. This is going to be fun between West Russ and New Diana. Now, New Diana won last week and playing Anderson Shire, but they went in and they took care of business 6-0. Very dominant defensive win. Maybe the weather had something to do with that. I don't know. We'll see. I do like New Diana. They are explosive. Their quarterback, their freshman quarterback, is an explosive player. They've got an explosive running back in Williams as well, too. So they got enough maybe to compete with West Russ. We'll see. West Russ has been dominant on defense all year long, but we'll find out the score of that one. I got West Russ right now, but I like the Eagles, and I hope they bring it to them just a little bit out there in Henderson on Friday. And number 6, that's number 6. And number 5, Malakoff versus Mount Vernon. This game last year would have been the game of the year. Not quite the same spiel because Mount Vernon isn't as talented as they have been in Sting is. They are running the football. Dawson Witherspoon has been playing great. The sophomore went over 200 or 300 yards multiple times this year. And that's what you need when you're trying to face somebody physical like Malakoff. Mike Jones, their quarterback, his second year. Mike Jones, yeah. But it's just an incredible game, an incredible atmosphere that's going to happen Friday night. I think Malakoff is going to put Mount Vernon to sleep, though. But But it'll be interesting to see how Mount Vernon comes out and tries to put their best foot forward. At number 4, Lindale versus Iowa Colony. 7-4 Lindale takes on 11-0 Iowa Colony. And I don't know a thing about Iowa Colony. I don't know how good they are. Obviously they're 11-0, but I don't know what the strengths are. Biggest thing for Lindale is they're going to have Clint Thurman. And as long as they got Clint Thurman, they've got a chance. Because that offensive line can block. They can wither the clock away. They can slow the game down or speed the game up if you're looking at the clock at your watch. And that's not what you want to see on the other side. Hopefully they can get the other team off the field, maybe force a couple of turnovers, and keep their offense off of the field, most importantly. I like Lindale, and I think Lindale can win. I don't know much about Iowa Colony, so I can't say who is going to win. But let's go Eagles. At number 3, Texas High taking on Mansfield Summit this Friday. And this is a huge game. In Sulphur Springs, Texas High is going to look to try to knock out Mansfield Summit. And I don't see a reason why they can't. Texas High is dominant on defense. They are really good on offense. They dropped the ball a couple of times this year. They almost got beat to Legacy 17-14, and that was without David Potter. And then they lost to Pine Tree 13-16. With the district kind of wrapped up, they kind of took their foot off the gas and lost an overtime game to Pine Tree. I think that those 2 losses are the only 2 times that Texas High is going to drop the ball this year. I think Texas High has done it once and twice this year, and I think that's all that they need to stay awake and stay alert, and I think they're going to get some of this Friday. At number 2, really huge game, Hooks versus Dangerfield. 10-0 Hooks versus Dangerfield, and I got to like Hooks going into this game. Keyshawn Walls, I do not see anybody on Dangerfield tackling this guy. You look at Dangerfield's losses this year, they lose when teams run the ball and dominate the clock, keep the explosive offense off the field. Hooks has athletes everywhere. Hooks is very, very talented. Not only do they have the big monster at running back in Keyshawn Walls, they got weapons on the outside that can catch and run with the football as well. I like Hooks in this game. And this is a challenge to Dangerfield, and this is a challenge to those guys over there. Bubba Hampton, play like you're going to Texas. Let's see it. Play like the 4-star, 5-star athlete that you are. We want to see you be the difference maker in this game. Chase Johnson, I think you're a Division I quarterback. Be that this week. Go out there and beat Hooks if you got it in you. I hope you do. Here's a challenge from Spence & Co. But nonetheless, I do like Hooks going into this game, but I'm ready to see these D1 guys go off and carry their teams. And at number 1, speaking of D1 guys going off and carry their teams, Longview's got a tough matchup against Frisco Reedy this Friday night in Mesquite. Definitely want to see the stars rise above out there in Longview. Taylor Tatum, the Oklahoma commit. Willie Nelson, the Oklahoma State commit, Buda Garrett, the Tulsa commit, and a lot of more playmakers that are all over this field. 15 guys on this team that have been on the varsity since sophomores. A very well-experienced group. This is a big playoff game for them, and we'll see what happens. But let's go Bows. So that is the top 10 most intriguing games of the week. Very, very interesting slate of games. This is the playoffs. What the hell else would it be? And in the words of Stephen A., Amen.